Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's talk about how to use IDEANCE process to supersize and grow your business. Today we're talking about step 3 of our process, the one we came up with in January of this year. January is the first month of this year. And we came up with an acronym that stands for a 7-step process that we're using at the end of each month as we discuss each of the 9 different areas and aspects of the life framework that we use. And E stands for exploring options. So how do we go about exploring options? Well, I like to share a tool, and I share this tool probably more than any other when it comes to brainstorming, because it's simple, easy. It doesn't overwhelm anyone with the thought of having to brainstorm on their own. Guess what? We're brainstorming all the time. Our brain is always running and coming up with options and ideas and noticing what is possible. And so I use the 10-3-1 tool, and I use it because it applies to this step and the next step of the process. But all we do is we brainstorm at least 10 ways to begin filling or to fill the gap between where we are, our current story, our current situation, and where we want to be. Whenever we identify those first 2 things, and that's why we do it as the first 2 steps of the process, is so we create that gap. We have it clear in our mind. Hey, if I was where I wanted to be, I wouldn't be different than where I want to be, right? So there's a distance between there, and the steps and the actions and the things that we can do to fill that gap and get us to our goal or get us to improve the situation or the challenge that we're having spiritually in our business, then we're being successful, right? To me, any progress that I'm making toward what it is that I want is a great thing. So how do we apply this? I brainstorm every day. We brainstorm every day in our organizations, but I just make a list of 10 things, and I tell myself before the end of the day, I have to have at least 10 different ways to begin filling that gap, or to fill the gap all the way, since it's just till the end of this year, our goal. And I just do it. And sometimes I'll just keep my notebook with me. Sometimes I'll carry a littler notebook around if I'm traveling around throughout my day. Other times I just use Post-it notes, and as something pops into my head, for me, as soon as it pops into my head, I better write it down, or there's a whole lot of other chaos and craziness going on, and I will lose that thought. Now, sometimes it'll come back to me. Other times it won't come back to me for years. So that's why I've learned a long time ago, capture it as soon as it pops into my head, or it's gone. And that's why Post-it notes are so easy, and they come in all different shapes and sizes and designs nowadays. Learned about Post-it notes from my dad because he worked at 3M when they were invented. And so Post-it notes just became an everyday part of my family's life, and we use them for everything. So I use them to leave notes for my kids in their lunches every day because I like to. Or when I was traveling, I would leave them notes around the house so they could find them, which always made them happy. All right. That's it. So what are we doing today? 10. At least 10 possible ways to go from where you are to where you want to be. If you need help with this, if you need some coaching or help or ideas about brainstorming, just ask. I've been brainstorming literally since I was a little kid. So I guarantee I can help you. There's so many different frameworks and strategies and ways to brainstorm. But like I said, I like to keep it simple and do what's easy. I start with what's easy, and then if that's not working, I'll go for a more complicated process. But I always go for the simplest solution first. All right. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.